This is video number 3. We're going to cover how to make our robot move in a sequence. So the goal is we want our robot to move in a square. Okay. So this is going to be the goal of our robot. So basically if I run the code, the robot's going to go forward, turn, forward, turn, forward, turn to complete a square shape. What we're also going to do is going to use the marker function to draw down where the robot has been so we can kind of actually trace out its movements. All right, so to begin, first we want to do is we want to, what's all this stuff here? Let's throw that out. We want to do is we want to enable the robot to draw out where it's been. So to do that, we're going to be using a drawing function called the move pen down. So that's that little pen right there. Right now it's in the raised position. It's not touching the ground. So as soon as we activate that command, it's going to drop the pen onto the floor so it's able to draw it out. If you want to change the color of the pen, you just grab the one that says set pen color to, or set pen color, or so you can use this one for sliders. So you want to do a custom color, so kind of like the RGB LEDs that we use in the Arduinos, or just want a standard color, black, red, green, and blue, you can use this block. So either one of those is fine. So I'm going to set this to the color blue. So I'm going to set those values to 0. This one all the way to 255. So again, just like the RGB LEDs, the colors go from 0 to 55. So that's the first thing. Now, to move the robot in a square, it's basically a square has 4 sides, 4 corners. So that means that in order to make the robot do that square, we had to go forward, turn, forward, turn, forward, turn, forward, turn, and it has to turn 90 degrees each time. So I'm going to go to my drivetrain, I'm going to grab my drive forward block, and then I would say, make the square a little bit larger, so let's say 300. And then I wanted to turn right 90 degrees. And so as you can see here, this was the first side, it goes up, and then it turns to the right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and repeat that one more time. To make my life simpler, I'm going to go here to this first blue block, tap on it for a second to get my little context menu, and then duplicate that. So if I reset my map and then run the code, I can see the robot has now completed 2 sides. To do the remaining 2 sides, again, is basically just this 2 more times. So I'm going to duplicate all that chunk of code, and there we go. So the idea is robot drive forward, turn, drive forward, turn, drive forward, turn, drive forward, and turn, and it should be back where we started. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run my code, and there we go. So now we have a square. And so this is basically the code right there to draw a square, which is not bad for a beginner level. The idea is that as you get more and more experience with coding, you kind of realize that you can kind of simplify things so that it's less junk, a lot less codes, and it runs a little bit faster and more efficient. So very useful if you're building a robot that may have limited storage memory space in it. So the less space that it takes up, the more efficient, better design code it is. Okay. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do now. We're going to go ahead and see if we can simplify this code. So as mentioned before, to do a square, it basically does move forward, turn, move forward, turn, move forward, turn, move forward, and then turn. And from that, we can actually see that it's actually just doing 2 different actions. So driving forward and turning. So it does those 2 things, and it does it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So what we can do is we can get rid of all this chunk of code because again, it's just a repetition. So I'm gonna just delete all that stuff. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce a loop block. Basically, a loop means that it repeats or does that same sequence of code that's inside of it, however many times that we want, or if we have a specific condition. So we're gonna go ahead into our logic category, the orange one, and then we're gonna find a block that says repeat 10. Okay. So kind of like to think of this as kind of like a snake head. So this is the mouth of the snake. The 10 is the eye. And so whatever is inside of the mouth of the snake, that basically is how many times we have to repeat it. I mean, that's the sequence of code that we're repeating. And then where the eye is at, that's how many times we repeat that sequence of code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my repeat code on there. and then grab my drive forward and turn right, and then shove that inside the mouth of the snake. Now for a square, we're going to be doing four sides. So this basically just does completes the movement from one side. So I'm going to tell it, let's go ahead and repeat that four times. To demonstrate how that works, so I'm going to kind of keep this original blue square there. What I'll do is I'll change my color to green. And now I'm going to go ahead and run the code. Now what's really nice about this program is as you're running the code, you can actually see that your blocks will highlight it to let you know, where it's at, what it's doing with their code sequence. And so as you can see here, once my code has been completed, it ran through it. It pretty much is virtually identical to the first motion. So we had, duplicate all that. Let's hide this real quick. This was the original code right here, and this is the new code right here on the left. As you can see, it's a significant difference in size as well as the number of blocks. So using 3 blocks, we're able to replicate 8 blocks of code.